Welcome to my channel. This is recap of a horror and thriller genre movie. The movie has been nominated for Best Actress in Fright Meter Awards and for Best Feature Film in Toronto After Dark Film Festival both in 2010. The film has rating 6.2 from IMDb. The name of the movie is I Spit on Your Grave and release year is 2010. I hope you enjoy it, and to not miss my future videos please don't forget to like and subscribe. And as quick reminder, this video contains spoilers. In the opening scene, Jennifer Hill drives to a local shop in search of orientations and the cabin's keys. She plans on writing her second novel in a remote cottage in the forests of the Deep South. She is driving to the cabin when she gets lost and stops at a gas station to ask for directions. She scares Johnny, the group leader, by pressing the emergency button in her car after she spills liquid on him. The group of guys makes fun of him for being easily frightened. Jennifer heads out in the car along the gravel path toward the log house. The days pass with no unusual occurrences. She starts hearing strange noises in the middle of the night, making her uneasy, and it all starts with that one night. Matthew, the local idiot handyman, is the first person she meets when he gets sent to the cabin to rectify the clogged toilet. The timid Matthew is rewarded with a kiss from Jennifer, and he quickly leaves the cabin. Once he finally catches up with the gang, they all start talking about how much they miss Jennifer. They can't stand it when chic city ladies prove to be too sophisticated for them. Now that night has fallen, Jennifer can hear noises in and around the house. When she looks, she comes up empty. The following day, however, Jennifer's worst nightmares come true when Matthew's gas station friends show up at the cabin in an attempt to set them up on a date. She gets out of the cabin and runs off into the woods after they play pranks on her by forcing her to perform sexual acts on bottles and a gun. The sheriff and the old man she hired the cabin from, Earl, both happen to cross her path. Earl is ordered to wait outside while the sheriff pretends to help Jennifer and takes her back to the cabin. He gets a drink and a joint and starts questioning her. After an inappropriate strip search, the men enter the house and she recognizes that they are complicit. They're holding her down while Matthew sexually assaults her. Once he's done, she just stands up and strolls out the cabin to the bushes. She is encountered by the group once more. This time they have every turn sexually assaulting her. Jennifer is raped anally by the sheriff. She stands up and makes her way out of the forest and onto a bridge. Jennifer knows the sheriff is about to start firing and decides to take refuge in the creek at the last minute. The gang looks everywhere for her corpse but can't seem to find it, so they start covering up their tracks. 1 month goes by before Jennifer gets back. She has stayed alive in the forest for a 30-day eating, as she describes afterward. Insects and other stuff have been remaining in a rundown forest cabin. She begins playing games with the gang, who all believe Matthew has lost it when they begin discovering indications of Jennifer around that show up to be left as a mark of the violence. Jennifer's first victim is Matthew, the weakest of the bunch, who has a crush on her and the sole individual that starts to feel regret about what he did. He holds to her waistline and apologizes over and again as he sleeps next to her on the sofa in the cabin after she has finally revealed herself to Matthew. She pays attention for a time, then starts pulling a piece of rope tight around his neck. She pulls Matthew outside by the string as he gasps for air and apologizes again, but her facial expression crumples and she tells that's not satisfactory enough. 2 of the team's henchmen make up her 2 subsequent victims. The chubby Stanley falls into a bear trap, and Andy is whacked out with a baseball bat. Whilst also Jennifer starts pulling out a fish, guts it, and smears the guts all across Stanley's face. She holds his eyes wide open with fish hooks. All of this has been captured by the camera he used to capture her sexual assault. The birds are drawn to the fish guts and start pecking at his face and, finally, his eyes. Andy is entangled lying on a few panels over a bathtub being full of water. To make him use his power and remain away from the base, Jennifer uses lye and takes out one of the panels. Ultimately, he sinks down until his face is in the water of the tub's base. Every time he gets back up, we can see that his tongue has been completely melted away and his face is severely burned. The following day, Jennifer visits a nearby gas station where she strikes and smashes out Johnny and brings him back to her cabin. There, she ties Johnny's wrists to the cabin roof, strips him naked, and starts to systematically remove his teeth with pliers. Then she uses the garden shears to remove his dick and place it in his mouth, abandoning him to pass away from bleeding. Jennifer leaves Johnny and goes to see the sheriff's family. She calls him up, trying to pretend to be his child's schoolteacher. The sheriff returns home quickly only to discover that Jennifer has left. He reveals Jennifer has captured his child to the play area. When the sheriff arrives, he discovers nobody is there besides Jennifer, who was hiding in the trunk of the police car. After the sheriff regains consciousness from the wheel iron burst, Jennifer informs him to envision somebody trying to hurt his child the same they all traumatize her while shoveling a rifle barrel into him. Eventually, he exclaims, "She's an innocent girl," to which she responds, "So was I." Note that following this point in the film, his child is not seen again. It is presumed that he essentially sent her home while using her to entrap the sheriff. Jennifer then uncovers she connected a piece of rope to the trigger and the other side has been bound around the non-conscious Matthew's wrist. When she leaves the cabin, the sheriff is both calling for backup and swearing at her. And after that, Matthew wakes up, and irrespective of an unsuccessful attempts by the sheriff to soothe Matthew down, Matthew begins to move, opening fire the shotgun, murdering both the sheriff and Matthew. In the last shot, the quiet and yet still Jennifer can be observed resting on a tree trunk outside the cabin, gradually grinning when she gets to hear the gunshot and recognizes they're all gone. That was recap of I Spit on Your Grave. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Also, feel free to comment about this recap.